Have you guys heard about the new latest trend with people within their jobs not wanting to leave? I'm telling you, it feels like every month there's a new trend for people within the job market or some type of finance. This one is really interesting.
The U.S. economy has lost 1.2 million jobs since April 2024, and Americans are feeling the economic downturn. The quits rate, a measure of how often workers voluntarily leave their jobs, is now down to about 2% after fluctuating in the years since the pandemic.
You can't quit now. There's no possible way now people could quit their jobs because you need every little amount of money you have just to survive, to pay your bills, to do everything you need to do to just survive. It's getting extremely expensive. You can't just get up and just leave your job. And especially now when you're hearing so many people saying how bad the job market is and how many people are applying for jobs and they never get a call back, they're getting ghosted or it's a scam. Who wants to deal with that? Now, I understand, right, that you do not want to become complacent and stay in the same job the whole damn time because you definitely need to move in order to get the wages that is necessary. But the problem is that worked before. Remember the great resignation when people were able to jump around and get more? That stopped. Now these companies know, like, nah, we're not hiring anymore. Some places are just doing layoffs. So all that jumping around used to work, but now it doesn't work anymore. You guys let me know how you're dealing with the job market right now. And are you guys staying in your job until things get better? Or are you guys saying, hell with that? I like the stability. I'm going to stay there for as long as I can.
And employers are hiring at the slowest pace since 2013, excluding the pandemic dip and rise.
I think people just want to stay with what is known and not take any risks right now.
Yeah, no one is taking risk right now. But what people are doing, and you let me know if you're one of them, is you're getting side hustles, right? You see, this is the tricky thing. You guys let me know how you feel about it because I feel a certain way as well. But I'm definitely interested to see what you guys say. You know, I feel like having a job that's stable is a good thing, especially if you have a side hustle you're working on. Because then you have your 9 to 5 to pay your bills, and that's something you know what you're doing, you're comfortable doing. But then in the meantime, you're starting your side hustle and see what happens and see where that goes. Because that side hustle could be the hustle that gets you out of your 9 to 5, right? So at least it gives you the time to work on your side hustle, which to me, I find highly, highly, highly important. Now, I love my job. I'm doing great in my job, but I understand during these times, you need to have an additional income coming in. Relying on one job is not going to cut it, especially with all these places doing layoffs and you might not like the way things are going in your job. So having a side hustle and being creative and just having a passion on the side is highly, highly important. You guys let me know, what do you think? Do you guys have a side hustle you're working on? Or you guys is not even working right now? You're like, yo, hell with this 9 to 5. I'll just quit and start my own side hustle, which so many people are doing because so many people are getting burnt out right now. And the funny thing about that video as well is when they said a lot of these firms are not hiring. Yes, they're not hiring, but there's a little caveat to that a lot of people don't want to talk about. See, they're not hiring, but what they're doing is they're giving more responsibilities to their employees. Like you used to have one job, one function, one department. Now it's like you do multiple jobs, multiple functions in multiple departments, and you're not getting the raises or you're not getting the wages that you expect. So many people right now are getting burnt out. I'm pretty sure you're probably one of them.
The term job clinging or job hugging to denote that they're staying put rather than moving on. I think for workers, that means more stress and less mobility. For companies, it looks like retention, but I think it hides disengagement. And then for the economy, it slows innovation just because people aren't moving and growing.
Job clinging and job hugging. Okay, that's the new term, right? Job clinging and job hugging. And he is right. I do feel that way as well. You guys let me know what you think. But I do feel like, the whole quiet quitting thing was a trend. Everyone's talking about quiet quitting and then no one discusses it anymore. They don't bring it up, but that's still a thing. Right now, people are just definitely quiet quitting and they're doing just enough to get by. Because they know as well the jobs don't really want to fire so many people. And so they have no choice. They just have no choice. So many people are just taking advantage of that and they're just going to work and getting by. As I said, so many people are doing side hustles as well, where they're like, yo, hell with that, right? Like, my job is doing what they're doing, whatever. But I'm going to work a side hustle because I just don't trust this place, right? Or some people are just petrified and they're just paycheck to paycheck to the just dying out there, struggling out there. And they know they need this job, which is why having a lifestyle of paycheck to paycheck and a bunch of debt puts you in that situation. You're not going to be able to take opportunities to possibly start your side hustle or to possibly take the risk to leave that job and take a job that might actually be a better job. But you are so worried and so petrified of not having that check coming in. It's not going to, you're just not going to move. You're not going to stay, right? You're just not going to take the opportunity because you're just so worried. And another thing is, let's be honest, man, a lot of people right now are taking out 401k loans and they're afraid to leave their jobs. Because if they leave their jobs, they're not going to be able to pay it back. And then that 401k loan you got ends up being a hardship withdrawal, which is not going to be a good situation for people's retirement money.
4 out of 5 employees surveyed said they're not thriving at work. Another 58% of U.S. professionals surveyed believe they have a wide range of skills that are being underutilized in their current roles.
Yep. And I was one of those people as well. Listen, it's funny because I have an accounting and a finance degree, and I don't really do a lot of accounting work. And a lot of stuff I'm doing is not want to say it's bad, but it's definitely not what I went to school for. And I'm not the only one. There's other people as well that I'm seeing with, that have a certain degree and they're not doing what they got the degree for. Because a lot of these companies, they don't really care about it as much. Well, let me take a step back. They don't really care that you specialize in whatever your degree's in and they want you to just do that. They just know that, hey, you're smart, you can figure things out, figure this out. Hey, there's some efficiencies in this department, figure it out, right? And that's just the way it works. Like for me, for example, a lot of stuff I do to stay relevant, especially during these times, is learn AI. And I use a lot of technology as well. And I do that because I've recognized that's what's happening right now in the economy. That's what's happening in the job market. AI is huge. A lot of people are resistant to using AI, and I'm not. So I help, with doing automations and whatnot in my job that I'm working in now. And I highly recommend you do the same because, guys, AI is going to be something that if you know how to do, you're going to have a job for a very long time. And yes, AI is replacing a lot of jobs. Don't get me wrong, some of the mundane jobs. So you better start learning AI because if you don't, man, it's really going to ruin you. You guys let me know how you feel about AI. Do you feel like it's going to replace your job? Or you feel like you need to start hopping on that train and learning it to make your job way more efficient?
This all makes for a labor market that doesn't have a lot of churn in it.
There's been a lot of anxiety about the direction of both the economy and the labor market. That is part of what's keeping people in jobs, and that could be a contributing factor to this, at least, perception of disengagement that is rising.
Yeah, because no one understands and no one knows exactly what's happening. Okay, politics plays a role here. It's hard to do videos, guys, and not talk about politics, but politics has a role in everything we do in life. And when it comes to tariffs and it comes to all these things going on that's being discussed and inflation, it's really, really hard for these companies to start hiring. And it's really, really hard for us to know how our future is looking. Like 5 years from now, what are things going to look like? You guys let me know. What do you think? Me? Oof, it's kind of dark, man. I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like ever since COVID, this has been stretched forever. The job market, inflation, it's been going on for way too long. I know the economy and the market goes through certain shifts, certain seasons, but it feels to be very, very bad during this time. And it's not made up either, right? It's the truth behind it. When you're dealing with inflation being as high as it is, but in the same time, you're not getting the proper wages to keep up with inflation. Eventually, guys, you get stressed out, you get burnt out, and that's where the money anxiety kicks in, and that's where the likelihood of you staying in your job longer than necessary is going to happen because you feel like you're relying on that job and you need that job. You guys drop a comment down below and let me know. Let's continue watching.
Here's why so many Americans feel stuck in their jobs and what it means for the economy. Almost 1 in 5 job seekers surveyed said they're not confident that they will find a great job that they like.
Yes, that's the whole comfort, right? That's because people like the familiar. So if you're in a job right now and you're like, it's not that bad, then you're going to stay there, right? Or if you have a job right now here and one getting laid off, you're like, yeah, you know what? I can deal with this. This is not that bad. So that's the mentality you put yourself in, especially when you're hearing all these dooms and gloomy type scenarios going right now in a job market. Because the last thing you want to do, guys, because the way I think of it too, right, is like this, right? it's like musical chairs. You just want to make sure when that music stops, you have a chair. You don't want to be the one without it. So the best bet is to stay sitting in your chair. No pun intended. Stay sitting in your work desk and just say, I'm staying put. When the music is playing, I'm not moving. I'm staying here the whole time. And that's not the way musical chair goes, guys. Got to get up and move. But that's just, you got to deal with the economy now. The way the economy is now is not that simple to get up and just get another job. But I will say this, it doesn't mean that you need to be scared and be discouraged to find another job, or if there's an opportunity out there for you to not pursue it. You should certainly pursue it, but just do your research and make sure that if the reasons why you're not taking it is because you're scared, right? Make sure the reasons why you're not taking it is because it's a job that you don't like, you don't feel like there's any stability. But just make sure, though, you're not stopping your growth simply because you want stability, because eventually you're going to leave that job one way or another. Either you're going to leave or they're going to get rid of you.
We're in a situation where that economic uncertainty is manifesting itself in fewer people quitting as well as fewer organizations hiring. There's kind of less movement in the market right now.
I think wage growth has cooled, job switching premiums have shrunk, and a lot of workers worry that their pay won't keep up with rising costs. So I think they're clinging to stability in a time of uncertainty.
Because this is something I always thought about, and I want to hear what you guys think about it. Like, because before, like, the big thing is what people are saying is the wages are not keep up with inflation. But then all these surveys come out saying, no, that's not true. Wages are actually outpaced inflation a few years ago, is what they were saying. And to me, I'm like, okay, I hate surveys like that because it doesn't mean everyone is going through it. And the majority of people in society, depending on what type of industry you're in, yes, you might have gained a greater advantage, during those times. For example, if you're doing AI, then of course your wage is going to be great because that's the new thing, AI, and you're getting paid high. But if you're someone that's in a different industry than that, you're not getting all that growth, right? A lot of people are not getting all the growth that people are saying that everyone is getting. They're not. To me, I feel like wages have been the same since COVID. It's been flat, and damn near inflation has just been eating up everybody's pockets. And it is really wild to know that so many people's pay for years is eroding continuously to a point where it's like, what are you going to do, right? Like, something has to give. That's why people voted for certain politicians to fix these issues. But as we know, it seems like it's not going to happen. Obviously, tariffs, that's a debate, but tariffs are making the situation worse. I don't know, man. I really don't know exactly what's going to happen and how things are going to get better. The only thing you could do is just control the controllable and try as hard as we can, right, to control our expenses and just not get to the point where we're like, F it, and just start, running up credit and just enjoying life, because we say life is too short, but on credit. We definitely don't want to do that.
A lot of this does have to do with sentiment because companies are unsure about what's going to happen in the future. They see economic policies like tariffs. They're not quite sure how that's going to impact their bottom line. So they're nervous to hire people when they're not sure if they're going to have to turn around and then let people go in the near future.
That's the number one thing too that everyone is saying, that they're just afraid that they get it. And that reminds me of someone that actually took a job, and when they took that job, they got fired within a few months later. Because a lot of these companies, they need help, but the problem is they don't have the money for it, right? They're dealing with all these turbulence with tariffs or whatnot. They don't have the money for it, but they're willing to take the risk, and they don't really care about you and your well-being, which is really unfortunate. So I do like the fact that some companies do care, right? But a lot of companies don't, man. I've heard so many stories that you get hired and fired just like that within a few months. And it's crazy to know that they hire you, right? And you're there like you uproot the place you're from to get that job, and then they turn around and they let you go. That makes no sense to me. If you're someone out there that experienced that or know someone who did that, drop a comment down below, because I'd love to know. Let's keep on watching.
While layoffs have been steady since the pandemic, many companies are choosing alternatives, such as hiring freezes or letting attrition thin their workforce.
What we did, though, is a bit different. We don't do layoffs, we just don't hire. And because you have a natural attrition of 20% in a company like ours, it means that every year 20% leaves, and if you don't recruit, you just shrink, right? But what we've done is we promise all our employees some of those savings we are going to accelerate their compensation with. So they have seen an increased acceleration in their compensation due to all of the AI that we've done.
That sounds good, but the true problem is not just the fact that you're getting paid more. We all want to get paid more, it's great. But now the responsibilities of the 20% that left is being dumped on you. So now you're doing way more work, and that's going to lead to burnout. And that probably is the reason why every year they get 20% of the people leaving, because of the fact of they're getting burnt out, right? It's great to get paid a higher amount, to get better wages. It's nice to doing that. But at the same time, it's like you're burning people out. Everyone's getting burnt out. Well, guys, let me know what you think about all of this, man, right? Like, what's the reasons why you're staying in your job, or you think so many people are staying in their job? You think it's just due to the fact that we just worried, right? Or you guys worried about what's going to happen if you do leave? Or you guys just like the stability because of your side hustle you're working on, and you're really comfortable. You like the way things are going. Drop a comment down below, guys, and let me know. At the same time, hit the like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Peace.